All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the TW Motocross, motocross.com recap show, this time from Indianapolis. Man, what a race. Really fun to be there at that one. I actually think I haven't been there yet. I think I missed the last couple of years, so it was the first time, I believe, for me. Unless I've been there in the past, I don't know, but I think I haven't. But anyway, really fun race. Lots to talk about. We'll go over everything and more. But here, as always, with me is Trey Sire. Trey, how are we doing?
Doing good. Fun week of racing. Indianapolis Triple Crown was fun to watch. And then, of course, MXGP started as well, which I was really excited for this season to get going. Now we got an off weekend. We got a little bit of a breather, especially for you who's going to every round. It's nice. And for some of these riders to get a recharge, reset the batteries for a little bit, 9 rounds done, then 8 rounds after this starting next weekend. And we get an East West showdown next weekend. And I'm very excited to see where both classes stack up.
Yeah, very exciting. And as always, the show is brought to you by Partso, the best for parts, doing a big push on aftermarket parts this season. So we're going to be doing more with them. Uh, a big partner of ours. I think we're gonna, I think I've learned recently that we're having, doing a really good job in the relationship, and I think it's going to be something that hopefully we can continue on and work together for a while because, support those that support us. You guys make sure to check them out for parts, partzilla.com. I'm sure we'll end up working more together, probably create more links together and do more promotions together as things keep going. But yeah, don't forget to support those. But yeah, so yeah, we made it. We made it out there. It was a triple crown, very exciting race. Like Trey said, we got a weekend off. I'm very excited about that. I have been wide open, even right before Supercross started. I think I did get like 2 weeks off because I was doing the Arena Cross series, the Partzilla Arena Cross series, the TriStar series out in Tennessee on the East Coast, and a few rounds, and that was a lot of fun. I only missed two of them because they actually overlapped the Supercross, and a lot of those guys end up jumping into the East Coast division of Supercross and the Super Motocross Championship. And sure enough, I keep seeing Luke Nice out there. He's defending champion from last year from Parts of Arena Cross. I keep seeing him out there on the gate and making main events, doing really well. He'll get in the LCQ, but he like usually wins the LCQ. Definitely a really good rider. Definitely having better luck. Talk to him. I was like, you're having better luck this season here, at least better than Arena Cross, because in Arena Cross, man, he was getting taken out, and it's Arena Cross, man. Anything can happen there. But so yeah, really cool seeing him. Gage Linville will be returning soon. I think we're gonna get some riders back after this break as well. Maybe Gage is one of them, and which is exciting because he won the championship this year in the Partzilla Arena Cross Series. So I was really excited to see him jump in the Supercross this year with that momentum. But now he's coming off an injury, so it's a little different. But yeah, still really cool to see those guys make that transition and how that series has helped them get into it.
It's
But
been a fun transition to see. I mean, Aiden Shive, even on the West Coast, he
true.
jumped in earlier than some of those other guys, and he's out there putting in his career best Supercross season to date so far. As you mentioned, Luke Nice has been performing well. LCQ wins in 2 out of the 3 East Coast rounds so far, and it proves to you that gate drops before the season are very important. We see those guys, and of course, some of the guys from World Supercross came in and ran solid as well. Max Anstey won A1. I know he started to taper off a little bit after that, but Eli Tomac had a couple races on his KTM. Hunter Lawrence went down, ran Ozex Open, and look at those two guys. They're at the top of the 450 class now. But you look at Indianapolis, and 450 action was close. You didn't really have a guess of who's going to win. You saw the motos, and it was like, well, Hunter Lawrence could win, Eli Tomac could win, Cooper Webb could win, Ken Roxon could win, Justin Cooper could win. He got his race win. 250 class was the opposite, though. One guy really controlled and dominated the whole night. 1-1-1. Fantastic performance from Cole Davies. And I think it's really what we've all been waiting for from Cole. He's had the speed this year, he just hasn't had the starts. And he finally put two and two together and took those boys to school.
Yeah, that was really cool to see Cole sweep the night. Kind of knew he was a threat. He was coming. It's going to be really exciting to see him in the East versus West, kind of the revenge ride, I guess you could say. We from last time we saw him and Deegan line up. So I'm actually rearranging some things in the background a little bit, moving our video captures around just a little bit to help block some of those random ads that are playing on the side. But funny fact or interesting fact, I was at Freestone, the amateur race. I went and checked out that race. I'll talk a little bit about that. Um, Went and checked them out. Clayton, the track owner, is a good friend of mine. they are they actually went through a lot of drama this year with the AMA not being a part of the series anymore for them. They were the big AMA regional series out there, and now our national amateur national series, and now it went to the Ding, the Moto Playground race happening right now. So a little bit of drama there, but you know what? Still happy to be there and supporting those that support me. Like we've worked together for the last few years, helping to do coverage out there. So I still make sure to show up and help him with a little bit of Transworld motocross coverage, and it was a lot of fun. There was some great racing. Shout out, I think what caught my eye the most, I think Sean Brennan, the kid on the 65, 85, fast Suzuki kid, great style. We got some good videos and content together with him, and everything they're doing over there with at Freestone, and they have the NMA, the National Motocross Association, something I think from older back in the day before the AMA. It's just another sanction that they're revitalizing. So they're trying to just bring more options to the scene. It never hurts to keep doing stuff like that, I think. But there's definitely a lot to talk about. I think we'll learn more about it soon because they haven't officially launched it just yet. So they're still working on some things. But that weekend was kind of like a test of it, and it was still good. Not the shout they wanted, but it was still a fun event. But another thing that was really cool that happened there is James Stewart did come by. James Stewart spent some time with us out there. We did some little bit of content together. I helped him put together like a little bit of I put some footage up on the screen that he like talked about to the track with some of the riders. All the riders came into like the barn area, like the shed, area, like this covered area, and we had like a projector set up. And James Stewart hung out with us for a while. He did a Q&A for like an hour or so, and hung out for a while. And then I ended up hanging out with him. He hung out for the night, hung out with us for a while. I talked to him for probably like a good like 2 hours, like with all of us a little bit, and me and him too chatting for a while. And I was explaining to him about how we do our show. We tried to do like an interactive background, and he was kind of like, "Wait a second." He goes, "Let me see," and I showed him like some of our clips of our show, and he goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "I've watched you guys a little bit." So really cool to hear that James Stewart tuned in a little bit occasionally to watch our content, and he was really impressed with how we set it up like this, where it's like this live stream style, which we were doing live, but I was just kind of having problems with the software. Maybe because it's not compatible with like a Mac or something. Maybe I need to get a PC. I don't know. I'm kind of learning this stuff right now, but trying to use this is Streamlabs. So if you guys have any pointers, we were losing when we bring on a guest. It would like when they leave or hang up, it would like crash the stream, and then you restart your live, and that just kind of loses and messes everything up. So we're trying to do these uploads now, but we're willing to change it because I think I liked doing the live more and having a live chat. And I think that's the most fun way to do it. But if we could figure out the crashing issue, that would be huge. But yeah, James Stewart did watch our show. He likes it. He likes the way we have this background. Was asking me questions about it, trying to maybe implement something similar into his own content. He was telling me to have that kind of reaction content and stuff like that. So, and we exchange information, and he just seems like he's a really good guy, and excuse me, a good guy to have in your corner. And yeah, no, really good weekend in Freestone, but that was definitely a highlight. Is right before the night before I left, dude. You guys want to talk about wide open? Like I said, we went wide open. Daytona, man. I got home. I got to go home for one night, and then the next night I had to leave like at 3 in the morning, get my flight, go to Freestone, film those 3 amateur days, and then I got up early, 6 a.m. flight Friday from Texas to Indianapolis, press day, do the content, do the interviews, do the best I can, and then I did the race day, and now we're home, getting the edits out, putting the highlights out, hanging out at Trey, doing our live show, trying to retain the information best I can after being sick for like a month. But yeah, here we are, man. Obviously, I'm feeling better because look at me. I'm like going on a rant finally and just running my mouth right now and talking. But it was funny. I got drilled a little bit for my question to Tomac because I tried to be unique about it because I agree actually what people are saying to me. They're like, wow, people are beating a dead horse and always asking Tomac about his retirement. And I was like, yeah, I did ask him, but I didn't ask him directly. I more said what I said was like, hey, I know when people ask you when you're about how much longer we're gonna see you, everyone's always asking you that, but like your answer is I'm having fun or whatever. So my question to him was like, so what point is it not fun for you? Is it just only the winning, or is it still like is there still fun to be there to ride or race and stuff? And he's just like, yeah, winning. Because he's like, yeah, that's it. He goes, when I'm winning, I'm having fun, and right now I'm having a lot of fun. And I thought it was actually a pretty good question to answer, but I got drilled in it in the comments a little bit. Maybe people they were like, "Oh, beating a dead horse, asking a retirement question." And I was like, I was trying to actually ask something different, but whatever. Not everyone can appreciate it, I guess. But Trey, you watched it. What'd you think? You saw me doing my questions. And he's not there. Trey's usually there, and he's a great. He's my like I say, he's the encyclopedia. So he comes and he's got all the good history and the good, really good questions.
I mean, I didn't think it was bad, but once again, you're never going to please everybody. I mean,
No.
that's just how it goes. So, but I think, I mean, it is a good point. It stops being, fun if you lose. And sometimes, but you see guys like Chad Reed, look how long Chad stuck around. And he wasn't quite winning in those last few years, but he kept hanging around. And that's, I think, what brings up the part of the questions like, what is fun for Eli Tomac? And of course, winning, you obviously think is the most fun thing. And he really confirmed that. And of course, I know the tooth was the other hot button topic
Yeah,
and
yeah.
got a lot of chatter about that. But
I can't believe they
I
glued that
like I
thing
keep
back on.
saying, the more yeah, the more you do it, the more you're gonna keep getting comfortable with questions. And I mean, not everybody's going to like your questions. Remember at Bud's Creek our first time working with you on press day, and I asked something about to Deegan about falling behind the eight ball because that was the week after Shimoda beat him by like 45 seconds in the moto, and they're like, how's he behind the eight ball? He's up in the points by like 40 points. I'm like, I said falling behind after last week when he got beat by 40 seconds. But,
Yeah,
it's one
yeah.
of those things. Like I said, I mean, some people are going to love the questions. A couple people might not like them, but that's the way it goes. I'm sure every other outlet also gets that. So, no big deal. You just got to kind of let it roll off your back like water on a duck and just go on.
Definitely. No, we're getting better at it. So no, I appreciate it. Good words from Trey as always. But yeah, Indy man, we got there. It was great. The track, it was deep. A press day, like we barely got that many laps on it, and there was already that one big line going up one of the
Yeah,
jumps. I know that went around, that circulated. So everyone just knew, it's standard. It's gonna get
classic
deep,
Indy.
and yeah, and the dirt's very spongy. Even though it's covered, it's not like wet and raining in there. It was raining outside, so we're bringing some moisture in, but it's just moist and humid in the air. Even and it was good weather though. It wasn't like hot or cold. It was like really nice actually. But covered arena, short track. And what's funny is I kind of mentioned that I was on track walk with AP. We were filming for the YouTube channel for him, and I even mentioned it. I remember saying like this track seems kind of like compact. And he was kind of like, nah, it's kind of normal. But I felt like it was tighter and smaller. And then sure enough, at the lap times, they were like
46 seconds. Yeah.
46 seconds. So it ended up actually being a major factor in this weekend's race and major talking point. So it's kind of interesting. I definitely noticed that pretty early on going, this is like a smaller floor plan, just a tighter track, looked like a little bit less. Didn't look too crazy. Some good rhythms though. Good option. I knew there was gonna be good passing in the rhythms because I knew people were gonna be hitting them different like that. And there's a lot of cool moments. Like if you watch my recap video today, you'll see a lot of cool moments where the dudes are just totally like jumping like this with each other, going through. So definitely check that video out. But yeah, we can jump into it. 250s. I mean, the story's pretty simple right there.
The AV show.
It was the cold AV show. Yeah, he made it happen. Even without the best starts, he was making it happen.
He was still up there though, and I think it's a lot more progress. It seems like he was really well. First round, he didn't get to show what he was capable of off the start because he's down immediately. But Daytona, he was 5 to 8 range, I want to say. But every race, it seemed like he was top three or right up there and made quick work of those guys. Even if Joe and Seth were up there, Cole would get to the front, and we saw the whoop speed on display again. I mean, he's unreal in the whoops. He's like it's unbelievable, really. It's weird to describe him and to think of what he could be. Maybe the next Chad Reed. Chad was always great through the whoops. Of course, you think of Stu and Mookie as well, but Cole is just on another level in the whoops from these guys and everywhere on Saturday night. It didn't matter what section it was. Cole was just dialed. Shout out to Jalik Swoll. He didn't have a great qualifying. He was actually outside looking in for a good part of Q2. He was in 19th, and it looked like he
Yeah,
was going to go to the LCQ. But
I remember
when the
seeing
race
that.
happened, I mentioned last year, of course, he got a lot of great starts. It seemed like his starting ability really improved, and he got 2 whole shots in a row to end the night. I think he's still pretty sore because he aggravated the injury or retore, something like that, I heard his injury from the outdoors and aggravated it. So he just got back on the bike right before Arlington. Still not quite at 100% pace, but getting those good starts, that's a really good sign for him. And that was one thing he was doing really well last year. If he can continue to work into shape and ride into shape, maybe he'll be a podium level guy at the end of the year. And it's still a really close championship battle. Obviously, Cole's going to have the red plate now going into Birmingham. Of course, we got this showdown that could switch up everything, but I've said it the last couple weeks that Cole has been the most impressive rider in the class to me. Just watching him at Arlington in both qualifying and the race, and then watching Saturday night. Of course, I wasn't at Lucas Oil Stadium, but you didn't have to be there, I don't think, to be impressed with the way he was riding. You could speak to it firsthand because you were right there on the floor. But Cole has looked like the fastest rider in the class. He's looked like the best in terms of pure speed and skill, and he finally displayed that on Saturday night. And it didn't matter who you put in front of him or who you put around him. He beat them all, and he beat them soundly. And he didn't really seem satisfied with the win either. He's just like, yeah, he's like, got to keep working, whatever he said. He just didn't seem very satisfied. And I think that's a winner's mentality. He wants to go out there every single weekend. He was probably a little disappointed that he was, I think, fifth and third or fifth and second to start the year. He's like, man, I should be up front with my speed. And finally, he was up front. Joe P2 continuing to rack up that consistency. Seth, that second in the final moto to get him on the podium was huge because he had a couple mishaps. He went down early in the second race, and then he went down again. He landed on Gavin Towers a little bit, clipped his shoulder, kind of reminiscent to something we'll talk about a little later with Kenny and AP. But good rebound for Seth to salvage a podium after a rough start. Pierce Brown also rough first moto. He was down on the first lap, I think. But it's still a new series, so the points are very tight. Cole, I think, only up by 1 or 2 points. It's still very close. But the showdown's going to throw a big wrench into everything
Yeah.
because it's not like you just have to worry about Davies, Shimoda, Hammaker, Brown. You've got Deegan, Kitchen, Anstey, Ryder D, Mosman, all these guys coming in there. Even a guy like Maximus Foland and McAdoo and Yoder and some of these guys that could mess things up if you get behind and have to work your way around them. It's going to be the best of the best. It's going to be the absolute fastest guys in the 250 class. It's going to be tough for them. And whoever gets out of the showdown with the most points or at least can fight on the podium, you might not necessarily have to win to get out of there clean and with the red plate. You know, if, say, Deegan and Kitchen get out front, maybe whoever finishes third, if they're from the East class, really takes the momentum for that red plate. But it's still so early into the season. Plus, we have 3 of these showdowns. It's not like we just have 1 or 2. We have 3 of these things. Everything's still up in the air, although Cole Davies looks like the most complete rider in terms of speed and skill, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like these showdowns might be some of our, I don't know, they might be some of the biggest, most hyped showdowns to have in a while. Like the names going into it. I mean, this is Deegan's last run in the 250 class too, and to see everyone healthy and going at it. We're missing Juju, I guess, with a little bit of rivalry there. But Joe, he's got some good races under the belt now, feeling closer to 100%, I'm sure. And Seth's riding great. Like like you said, even Dax, like they're an old great friendship, old rivalry, but always good friends. Dax and Hayden, but Dax is actually starting to perform. He's getting closer and closer and getting those positions. And like I said, I remember him coming off the gate after his last podium, and Malcolm, approaching him and saying, this is where you belong.
You
You're
belong.
here. Yeah, this is where you're at. So and then you got the Club of Mex boys that could throw a wrench in any race. All of a sudden, they're next thing you know, they're right there.
Simonson was almost on the podium. He
Yeah.
was tracking toward it for a little bit. He had a great run, career
Yep.
best finish for Devin.
I know that their eyes have been on him, the Club MX team, and they've been saying, keep an eye out for him. So Jalik Swoll, I've always been keeping an eye out on him for a while. I believe he can put that triumph on the podium for them. I think he's a
Sure.
talented rider, and when he was up front this weekend, man, I thought he could have had something for it. But yeah, these Joe Shimoda, Cole Davies, these guys, Seth, they're on a pretty good level right now. And when they came through the
Yeah.
whoops, if you watch my recap, I think in the second moto, when they're coming straight at me in the whoops, you see Joe almost eat it. He buckles on the bars and he goes front forward, hits his face like almost like on the number plate, and like almost goes over the bars, but then bounces out and hits the double after the whoops, and then almost makes a pass. Like pretty impressive recovery right there. But you guys check out our recaps on the TW Motocross YouTube channel. I post on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, the 250 and 450 recaps, and then post these videos. And then Also, the website motocross.com. Trey is always updating the site, like you see right here. We have the results and the breakdown of the races. You can go into more detail yourself and get all the information you need on motocross.com. We're working to add more and do more. We're bringing more ideas to the
Slow
table.
news week, admittedly.
Yeah. We got more we want to do, but like I said, we've been really focused on some foundation building recently, and a lot of things kind of rely on some of the moves that I've been working on personally for this brand, and some of those things are finally starting to move forward, and this is what's going to help us the most, keep things moving and everything you do. So everything that we do together. So check out motocross.com. The biggest thing you can do to support is, check out the content. So definitely check it out. Overall, 250 class though.
One one one, can't beat
Yeah, you
that.
can't beat that. Cole Davies 111, and like you said, that winner's mentality. It's just like Hunter. I did notice Hunter this weekend. He was smiling on the podium. He had a big
Yeah,
old smile. So a little better there. We'll jump into the 450s too as well here in a minute. But I think Nate Thrasher. It's good to see him out there. I think he wanted to do a little better. He's hung up, not the best starts.
I think he's a little banged up as well. I've heard,
Derek
so he's not
Kelly
quite sure
rode pretty
what's going on.
good. I saw
DK
him.
had some speed for
Yeah, he was
sure.
looking good. Kyle Peters, he was doing good. These SLH boys, Isaiah Clark, Luke Neese, right
Two in
there.
the top 15.
Yep,
Solid night.
right with each other. Liam Olaf, this is his
Yeah,
rookie debut, right here in Supercross for the Partzilla PRMX team, and straight into the main
straight into
event
the mains. Yeah,
with a top 15. That's awesome.
another Partzilla Arena
And then right
Cross
behind
guy.
him,
We still
Partzilla Arena
haven't
Cross,
seen.
Luke Clout. Yep, that's really cool to
Best
see.
for parts. Partzilla.com. Their guys 15, 16. You see them there.
There they are. Yeah, they've been riding really good. Privateer team with the good rig right there. But
Hmm.
yeah, good presence out there, and we work with them pretty closely. So, Caden Dudney,
Struggled.
he's yeah, a little bit tough weekend for him, but he's just jumping into it. There's a lot to learn here for him, and even
Yeah.
the tough days are some of the best learning days. So good on him making it to the main and making it through the Triple Crown and coming out healthy and keep it going. Same with Marshwell and Gavin Towers, Evan Ferry. We know he's just excited to be there. Looks like he made it through. Um, Gilead, Valentine. He broke his collarbone in Moto 2 and he lined up on the gate in Moto 3 and dropped a few
Well,
laps to finish it. That's what I heard when I was on the floor there.
I checked his Instagram this week, and he said that he thought he broke his scapula
Oh, it
after the
wasn't
second
broken.
race, is what he thought. But he said he got the X-rays, things looked good, but the way because he was still in so much pain from race 2, he really wasn't able to attack and fight race 3. But hopefully he can use this break to heal up. Gavin Towers as well. I mentioned he got clipped by Seth
Oh yeah.
Amaker. No harm, no foul there. Really just a racing incident. A couple other guys in there. I mean, Evan Ferry's still working back to that level where he can be a main event guy. He's been through so much health wise the last couple of years. Good to see him. 2 starts in a row, just a little bit of progress, baby steps, like you just mentioned a few minutes ago, building the foundation for the site. Evan's trying to build that foundation in the main event. Also, shout out to CJ Bernard, his first start of the year. He was down and he was under his bike. I saw the leaders go around one of the corners on the broadcast in the first race, and you just see a Gizmo Yamaha laying on its side with a body underneath of it. And it's like, oh, that's not good. But CJ came back and raced later in the night, and he's a rookie too. I mean, he only raced a couple races last year. I guess you could say he was a rookie then. He did race the full outdoor season, but he only raced a couple Supercross rounds. He did qualify in Denver, so really his first full year of Supercross getting under his belt. And of course, Liam Aloff, first start. He's the fourth different guy this year to be an SMX Next graduate to qualify for their first main event, top 15. He was solid in qualifying. C Group was used to his advantage, I think, but I think it's a huge deal if you're a rookie like him. First start, missed the first couple, but you put it straight into the mains in a Triple Crown race, that's legit. And it
Yep.
was a solid night for him.
Yeah, definitely. It was really cool to see him out there, and he was really happy and stoked. But congratulations, Cole Davies. Amazing race, dominated it, and I can't wait to see the highly anticipated showdown in
Showdown.
Birmingham. And then, like you said, we got 3 of them total, so it's gonna get dicey out there.
Spicy.
That is a stacked class, man. There's way too many. I mean, dang, Star takes up third of the gate, pretty much, if they all make it. So,
This is going to be a spec class in a few years. Just all start on
oh
us.
yeah, well, we might be heading towards those things. Well, we got some things to talk about. We'll talk about. Don't worry, the hot topic after we wrap up the 450s and what our opinion. We haven't even me and Trey haven't even talked about it yet, so we're gonna discuss it together here about our thoughts on that. But 450 race, Ken Roxon was looking really strong opening up in that first
Yeah.
race. I thought for sure I was like, oh, here we go.
Kenny Roczen winning Triple Crown races.
Yeah,
What's new, right?
yeah. What's new? Prado showing up, making it that weekend. It's good to see him out there.
Good to see him back. A little bit of action on social media is apparently some Prado Lawrence beef getting started.
Oh boy.
A little bit of, I forget what he said. Hunter said something about body English, and then
Oh
Jorge's
yeah,
like
body Spanish.
Spanish or whatever. And seems like those two are having some banter. I know some people have been a little frustrated with how Jorge's cross jumped or tried to hold them behind, but hey, I guess if it's for position, it's fair game. It's a little risky, a little dangerous, but we also had some cross jumping from people who weren't on the lead lap, and I know we're going to talk about that here
Oh
in a
yeah.
minute. But Kenny started the night off on the right foot. He got out there, got in first, but you look right behind him too. Lawrence, Tomac, Webb was far from over.
Yeah. Another obviously stacked class. It's pretty insane out there. Jumping the
Then race two. I mean,
This was a fun
Kenny's
one.
attempt at a victory was
I
over
met
before it really began.
in the first. I
Unfortunately,
actually did get a little distracted in the first lap of this. Obviously, working with AP when AP went out there, I saw that was pretty early on. We had, I think, the first lap.
first lap,
Right? Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't
Poor
even
guy.
see. I was waiting on the other side of the track, but I hear the crowd go nuts, and then I don't see him come around the corner, and that makes me. I'm like, oh crap! So I ran over there and to catch up with him getting off the track, and luckily I didn't miss the good stuff of the race. But yeah, unfortunately, AP and um, Ken Roxon came together. Kenny looks like he messed up some rhythm a little bit. I don't think anyone got in his way. I
Yeah.
think it was a mistake, right? He just messed up a little
Cased
bit.
a jump and really just bounced, and like as he was looking back, to
It like
check,
yeah
and then
moved.
like the way he came up, he lands on AP's shoulder, and then AP goes off the bike. Of course, Kenny was unhurt, thankfully. AP, it seems like, is just a little beat up. It didn't
Yeah,
really seem like he was too hurt, but he was definitely hurting that night in the moment because he immediately grabs for his shoulder. And
it was a nasty crash
bummer.
the way he flew off
Yeah,
the bike. So
could
I
have been a
was
whole lot worse for both of them.
yeah yeah. Well, thank goodness they're okay. But unfortunately, AP didn't line up for the third race, and I was bummed, man. But at least we got a good thumbnail of him flying in the air. I'm gonna pull from the footage
So at
for
least the second
for
time
his
this
YouTube.
year, the race where he
And we'll
what was
see
it,
him in Birmingham.
A2 when he flew off the bike.
Oh yeah, of course I wasn't there for that one. So this
Oh,
time
yeah, you weren't there
I
for that
wasn't.
one,
I was
and he
here for
went
this one, but
flying
I
through the
still
air.
missed the shot. So I'm doing a great job over there, guys. So glad you guys are supporting it. But we'll pull from the TV. But yeah, so that was a bummer. But luckily after that kind of cleared up and I saw him leave and he was okay, I went back, jumped into the racing, and sure enough, I made my way around the track just in time to capture J Coop, putting the dunk on Tomac, man. He came through that section. He was on hot on his tail. I don't think Tomac saw it coming at all. I think he was good. He was taking that line. Tomac's been skimming the whoops, and sure enough, here comes J Coop. Man, he put that inside corner on. He slammed the brakes on Tomac and stopped him, and he started doing his move, jumping through the whoops, and nobody jumped through the whoops better than J Coop. So Eli behind him, he could not regain his distance on him because he separated on him in those whoops because he put Eli on a dead stop like at the first whoop. So Eli was forced to like go through it all messed up and try to jump through it. And Jacob, that's his thing. He just went wop, 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 wop. He was gone. So that was cool.
A
And
little bit of
but
aggression from J.
they
Coop is
passed each
unique
other
there.
already too before that move.
Yeah.
That was already happening.
Tomac got around, and it was like, well, here we go. Tomac's going to win. And then Justin Cooper's like, I'm winning this thing, dude. This is mine. And he gets back around him. And I think a lot of people were like, holy crap, Justin Cooper's for real. And I know it wasn't an overall win, but for him to get a victory, a checkered flag like that over Eli Tomac, a living legend, the second winningest rider in
Earn it.
Supercross history, I mean, yeah, straight up earned it. What a run for Jay Coop. And of course, there was some Lapper shenanigans. Mr. Vince Freezy
Hmm.
in the headlines once again, doing a little
Every
cross
time.
jumpy action on Eli Tomac. He was a good boy for a few weeks, but now he's back to his shenanigans. Cross jumping Eli Tomac, and then a little bit later on, he bunched things up. He went for an inside. I mean, literally hugged the tough blocks. Cole Thompson checked up. I think he was a little caught off guard. Then Hunter Lawrence
Gosh.
has nowhere to go, jumps into the back of Cole Thompson. Poor Cole goes flying into the net. Solitaire bikes just careening into the safety net. Thankfully, Hunter only lost really one position from that, and it wasn't too consequential. I was getting flashbacks to Houston when Hunter slid out like right by the mechanics area, and I'm like, oh, this might be what cost him the win. But Jay Coop beating Eli was huge. Once again, there's so many moments you can point to during a Triple Crown night that are huge for the overalls. And Justin Cooper, in this case, was Hunter Lawrence's best friend going up there and beating
True.
Eli Tomac. But yeah,
Crazy.
we got a lot of chatter on social media, about the privateers and the lappers. And
I mean, it
as
wasn't the
I've
only
said on
one.
all of the as I've said on all of the shows this week, I mean Vince was the main culprit for sure. There was a couple other guys, mainly two guys, I think Freezy and probably Kevin Moran's, but I've said all week a couple bad apples ruined the bunch, and I don't think it was all of the guys. It was a very tight track. At least it looked tight on TV. You could probably give a better idea of that, but it looked like a very tight track, and with the ruts, it seemed like they were trying to get out of the way, but sometimes they might not have known where to get out of the way. And I talked to Grant Harlan yesterday. He's like, dude, he's like, some laps, he's like, I went down the left side of the whoops because I didn't think anybody was going to be there. But no, they were all using the inside. And he's like, they would just follow me through the whoops. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to move over. And they're right there. But yeah, I think a couple bad apples ruined the bunch. I don't think all of the privateers are in the way. Some of them, they want to fight and they want to keep battling. It's human instinct, but a lot of them do try to be respectful. And like Harlan was telling me, he's like, I always try to look around and see where the leaders are and try to be courteous and respectful of them. He's like, yes, we're in our own battles, but you also have to respect the leaders. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want it to. But then you look at other series, lappers are just, it's a thing in motorsports, whether it's two wheels or four wheels. You watch a NASCAR race, guess what? You're going to see lappers. You watch F1, you watch IndyCar, you watch anything else. I'm sure it's an issue in MotoGP. I'm personally not familiar with MotoGP, but anything I've watched with racing and with wheels and engines, there are lappers. Whether there's 20 guys, whether there's 40 guys, whatever. It happens. Sometimes they get in the way. A lot of times they get out of the way, no problem, and there's no issue there, but things
Let's
happen. It's racing.
let's jump into that in just a minute. We'll get a little bit more into it, and I like those opinions actually. I agree. Like in all those types of racing, like there's lappers and it's just
Yeah,
it's part of racing. And I think from a fan's
it is.
perspective, it makes it exciting sometimes because you want to see it tighten up sometimes. So it's hard to say. I think there's a factor there, but I think there's ways that things can be handled differently. And I have some ideas and opinions as well, just my thoughts on it. But I do want to finish up, just going through the race
Yeah.
recap again. Justin Cooper, race two, great, awesome. I saw him at the airport at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, whatever time it was before when we were boarding. Oh my gosh, you guys. We get out of there I don't get to the hotel. It's like midnight. We got our McDonald's with the Uber driver. We were sitting on the Uber line forever with we paid for it. Got the Uber driver some nuggets. You know the deal. We get to our hotel. We can't get our dang door open for so long. We had to get this guy to come up and open the door, and then he had to wake up the maintenance guy, and then next thing you know, it's like almost two, or it's like one something in the morning. We're sitting on the floor. Like Derek's working on his computer. We're eating off McDonald's off the floor of this grungy hotel, and now we finally get in a room, and we get to bed, and the time jumps forward an hour. At 2 o'clock, we got exactly 1 hour of sleep. We did sleep for 1 hour, and the alarm woke up, and then we left after all of that. And we get to the airport, and long story short, I do see Jay Coop there at the airport, and I was like, we dapped him up. I was like, bro, like hell yeah, that was so sick, man. You earned it. He was so stoked. He had a big old smile. I was like, that's great, man. Like it's good confidence. I was maybe put it in there on him, whatever. And he's like, yeah, because he's like, I had to because I saw an opportunity. I just, I took it. He was stoked about it. So shout out to him. And, we go back a little bit. So it's good to see him and tell him congratulations on that. And that felt like a pretty good win in my eyes for him. So really, really stoked on race two and to kind of reminisce on it early with him and talk about it. But yeah, race three, good thing Hunter Lawrence, getting that fourth and the way things worked out with J Coop, like it really did save it for him because then he came on strong for race three, made it happen, and that's he took him to the top. So, yeah,
Both the
go for it.
championship favorites got out front, and it's
Hmm.
like, is it going to be a straight up duel? But Hunter just inched away, and he did his thing. He rode pretty much a flawless race, won the thing over Tomac. Once again, the last few weeks, it's been +1, and then it's been +4, and then it's been +1. Guess what? It's back up to +4 now. Hunter's got
Yeah.
another win. And the last 4 races, it's been Eli Hunter, Eli Hunter. So we got a trend going on. I guess Eli Tomac would be the betting favorite for Birmingham with those odds. So if you are a sports bettor, maybe you want to put money on ET3 there. But at the last few weeks, it's back and forth, back and forth. Ever since Glendale early, when Tomac had that crash and went down early, it's been, or Seattle, I guess you could say, because Tomac had the crash in Glendale, and then of course the collision between Hunter and Kenny in Seattle that really put Eli back into things as soon as he lost that points gap, and then he put it back to 1. Then Hunter wins to put it to 4, and then Eli won again at Daytona, put it to 1, and now, like I said, back to 4 with Hunter winning. So close up there, but Hunter, Eli, it's going to be fun. I hope this continues down the stretch, back and forth, cat and mouse. It's been a really fun season so far. Hopefully it continues because this 450 class just seems to deliver every single weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's the Eli. It's definitely turning into the Eli and Hunter show right now. And Roxon and Cooper Webb are just kind of outside looking in a little bit. And Cooper's still like you can see it at the end of the race, even though he's like right there, maybe getting podiums. He's sitting on the side of the track, not looking too stoked, and just thinking, how it's slipping away a little bit as he's watching the season progress. So anything could happen. It's Supercross, Motocross. This stuff like changes in a heartbeat. So,
I said last week, though, it's getting close to the danger zone, and now
mhm.
Cooper is at and Kenny is over because Cooper Webb is 25 points behind the lead. And of course, you get 25 points if you win. Cooper Webb now 4 race back. Yes, we still have half the season to go, but Cooper and Kenny being 25 and 28 down halfway through the year, that's not pretty for them. They're going to have to start gaining points really fast if they want to be back in this race. And the way Hunter and Eli have gone, Hunter's worst finish this year so far is 4th. Eli, I think, would also be 4th if it wasn't for that one round in Glendale when he went down off the start and was so far behind by the time he got going. Apart from that one race, I think both of those guys' worst finish is 4th. Obviously, you need winning, but you also need consistency, and both guys have that right now. Hunter has 2 out of the last 3. Eli, of course, has 4 out of 9. Both of those guys have proven they can podium every single weekend. They can win at any given time. Hopefully, we keep seeing this battle. I still think Webb and Roxon could play spoiler. Maybe they steal around every once in a while. Maybe Chase Sexton comes back healthy and steals around in there, or we get some kind of surprise winner, but it really seems like it's trending toward Lawrence versus Tomac for the number 1 plate and for the Supercross championship.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what we're seeing. What's going to happen, and yeah, we'll see if Chase comes back. It seems like they keep prolonging it and don't really know what's going on there. We haven't really heard too much information from over there, so. Kind of wraps it up though. I think Hunter Lawrence. Congratulations to Hunter Lawrence and the Honda HRC Honda Progressive team over there. They are good to see a good big smile on Hunter's face up there, and to seem to be really enjoy that win. It almost looked like he enjoyed that win more than the previous one. So it's interesting to see. Really excited to see how it's shaping up this season. Really excited for a weekend off. Woo! I tell you that. And I think everyone knows. I think the track workers, man, shout out to uh,
Everybody.
everybody.
There's so many people. Dirtworks guys, AMA officials, the folks at Feld, of course, media, whether photography, videography, journalists, the mechanics, the crew members, the riders, the flagger. I mean, there are so many people that it takes, and I think it gets lost sometimes. We take for granted how much goes into everything, whether we're just fans or whether we are a part of something behind the scenes. And there are plenty of people who are doing a lot of jobs and wearing a lot of hats on those nights that do a lot to make everything happen, from shooting off the pyro to opening ceremonies to dropping the gate when the main event starts. There are so many people in there, and it's obviously going to be huge for those who go to the race every single weekend to have a little break. I mean, I've only been at a couple races this year, but it's still Still cool to have just a little reset just to like recharge the batteries, refocus. I mean, I'm loving the racing personally, so just reset for the weekend, take a quick breather, and then all right, 8 more rounds, push for a championship. We got a lot more to cover, but you got to give your stance on the whole privateer lapper thing now because I was getting
Yeah.
into it, getting worked up.
Yeah, let's
Your
let's
turn
let's
now.
let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. But yeah, no, definitely, it's been a long season, and it does feel good to. We definitely need a little break. And me personally, I already feel like this show is going a lot better just because I'm finally not feeling so sick. I've been sick for like a month, and I've like been drinking my coffees, my sick teas, and stuff while we're doing our shows for the first time. I'm still like in it a little bit. It's coming, but I'm finally on the rebound. So excited. I feel good. I'm excited to talk again. We had an excited weekend, and yes, now we got something interesting to talk about. We had the Lapper situation. We have the with Gypsy Tales and his strong opinion and everything. And talking about and sharing his points and conversations going on and keeping up with that. And I think some people's opinions are more than others, and like let's just talk about it. His is that he thinks something about privateers really not being a part of it, and I think that there needs to be repercussions myself, but I think you need to start somewhere before you go to the extreme. I mean, one
Yeah.
idea is a blue flag penalty. If the blue flags get ignored, or we put maybe a little bit
Yeah.
a stricter rule with the blue flag
Mhm.
itself, because they put it up in your face and make sure it's happening. Some of those guys
Yeah.
don't even
You
look
can.
back.
I mean,
They wave the flags
it's
like
hard to
crazy.
tell. No, don't ride, but yeah, you see them on the broadcast. They're going like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
flag
So
right here. Like,
we
observe it.
maybe we need
And
to
Steve Mathis, I'll
create
throw in
something.
there, also suggested, if say lappers get 2 laps down, maybe they get like black flagged and removed off the track just to
There we
keep
go.
congestion down. And I tend to agree. Like if you get 2 laps down, you're really not into anything. Not many people get lapped multiple times, but there are cases. I know Arlington, there was a lot of lappers as well. So sometimes maybe that could be an issue. But yes, I think there should be, you got to be conscious of the blue flags. I mean,
Yeah.
you have, yes,
It
you're battling.
seems that
I
they're kind
know
of ignored.
these guys are battling for 15th, 16th. I'm not going to take that away from them, absolutely. But when you're in that position, you see the blue flags, you have to respect the leaders. It's just the way it is. That's what that blue flag means. It's like, hey, the leaders are coming. Hold your line, stay over. And I think talking with Grant Harlan this week, he was like, he feels that both factory riders and privateer riders can be better. And he said that factory riders sometimes, like I mentioned, the one reference where he said that he felt like he was getting followed in the whoops, he was going down the left side, and he thought ordinarily, that would be the normal line to pick where he was over on the left side and get out of the way, but people would go down the left side of the whoops. And I don't think he anticipated that as much. It seems like both sides need to really find and stick the lines. Of course, Vince was kind of moving all over the place and cross jumping, which it's Vince. But we really got to get to a point where we know like the established ways of lines too. If the lappers all just get in that race zone, and I know they want to pass each other, but maybe they're like, oh, okay, we'll move over here. And they just kind of, it's hard to say because not everybody's thinking the same thing during the race.
Not
But
everybody's
if there
fast line's
is
the
like
same
a,
line. So it's
yeah,
yeah, it's not like left
sometimes
side's
it's like,
fast side and right side's slow side. It's like you
yeah,
can't.
yeah, you can't determine that every single race, but if there is like a more consistent thing, we have to find that. And I think both sides, I'm not a racer, so I can't give you the whole solution, but I feel like if there is some clarity of like we have a concrete, hey, this is where the fast guys going, the privateer guys should be like, okay, if fast guys are going there, I can get out of the way if I'm over on this side or if I'm over doing this rhythm. Like even if I pull off before the whoops, maybe I have to roll around the whoops this lap to be out of the way, but I'm out of the way. The fast guys can go through. And also a hard part I feel like is sometimes when it's fast guys coming through, it might be one, it might be two. You look at Arlington, it was 4 guys realistically. Once they got to a lapper, it's like, okay, there's a lap guy coming by, and they pull over, and it's like, holy crap, it's Hunter, it's Kenny, it's Cooper, it's Eli, and
Yeah,
they
it's
were just bombarded all of a
maybe the
sudden.
flaggers need to put
So
like
it's,
hold a number up, meaning 3 people behind you. Hey, you got 2 battling behind you. I don't know if that's
yeah, I
enough,
don't know.
but like I do think bottom line, you there's things that could be implemented before you go to the extreme of total removal.
Absolutely.
But I will say I do have other reasons to even talk about when it comes to the removal and other ways to do utilize and stuff like that. I do think I had some small conversation about with because we're involved with Arena Cross. If Arena Cross had better backing and it was more like, hey, this is the place where you go first, almost like SMX next, but it's like almost like a
The
requirement,
feeder series.
almost like a requirement, similar to I think baseball how that operates. So you go through this smaller division, you become through that, and then maybe the top three out of there are qualified for the Supercross or something. I don't know. That's if you went to that extreme or it would totally change things. But again, I think you start with other things because here's the bottom line:
Yeah.
we got the sheet in the email that talks about which penalties happened this excuse me, which happened this weekend, and those incidences that happened between these lapped riders, there's zero penalties and zero repercussions. And
Which is
in
bullshit, in my
reality,
opinion.
if you have these top athletes all complaining about the same thing, we need to listen to their voices, and it's true
Yes.
because they're threat. Eli made it pretty clear he threatened to leave the series because of it. He pretty much said, like, hey, if you want to keep top contenders here, then you guys, if you want them to leave, then you keep doing what you're doing. So there's, that's what his thoughts are. Then, but you want to keep these guys in it, and I think we do need to do something. And there is repeat offenders, and yeah, I think you start with something, maybe the blue flag penalty, meaning if it's blatantly
Yeah.
ignored, if it's
If you
obvious,
don't,
then take away something that matters, like your
yeah,
money or something,
we
because
we have this new penalty point system. Why is that not part of the penalty point? Remember, we
yeah.
had like
Because there's
Vince
clearly
randomly
riders
punting
that
Mitchell
look
Harrison
left and
from
right
20.
and make sure
Yeah,
they're good, and then there's riders that don't and will race you if they're
just
a
jumping
lap or
through
two.
and just whoop,
Yeah,
just
they'll
just
race
cutting
you.
through traffic. Good luck, everybody. I turn now.
Yeah,
Just cutting up there, but I think we do need to have some kind of, if you ignore the blue flags and if you can see it repeatedly, and like you said, you can tell when a guy is going like, "Oh crap, there's
you
the
can tell.
leaders," and if a guy is just riding right through that, and I'm sure they could watch the replays or see some kind of camera footage and be like, "Okay, this guy wasn't paying attention. He stayed in front of the leaders for a full section, like license penalty point, something."
Maybe
I mean, I
even
don't know how egregious, but there's got to
maybe
be some sort of repercussion.
maybe even if you are being lapped and it's a blue flag area, meaning you're in a blue flag section, you're being blue flagged, and you are the rider and you are battling with someone while you're being lapped, you are not allowed to pass each other.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
needs to be a thing because
you
I
are not
know
allowed to
some
pass
people
each other.
take advantage of that as well.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time in interviews. It's like, they're trying to be respectful for the leaders, and then the other guy will just hound them from behind and then, like, hurry up and pass them or take advantage of them somehow. And I think that should be implemented as well because, yes, you are battling for position, but that is also, yes, it's heated battle, it's a heated competition, but realistically that's kind of cheap. You're using something that is trying to benefit the leaders, but you use it to your advantage and you try to steal a spot from somebody else. Once again, I don't ride. I've never competed. I've never rode at any high level. So it's hard for me to fully say what these guys think and believe, but I have heard for years that some guys are take advantage of that and are like, you know what, we're battling here. We got to let the leaders guy, but I'm going to take advantage and I'm going to get him through here. And some people lose positions because of it. It's happened, but there's got
I
to be
think,
some sort of fix other than eliminating them completely, in my opinion. Which,
yeah,
of course, I'm very pro privateer. So
yeah, same. I think they belong in the sport, and I think there is a factor with lap traffic that keeps racing exciting, but it shouldn't be dangerous, and
yes,
they shouldn't be deliberately in the way. You need to slow down,
yep,
and I think if you implement a blue flag, I think that's my solution. If you're gonna ask Gavin what his solution is, or ask Motocross .com what our solution is, I guess it is stricter blue flag rules. We need to implement
blue flag penalty
blue
points.
flag penalties and blue flag rules. No passing in a blue flag section if you are the riders that are a lap down, and
Mhm.
you need to pull over more. Because if you can enforce the no passing rule, then you can enforce slowing them down and moving them over without infecting the pro riders race, or just enforce the penalty, and then that'll motivate them to ride smarter and make sure they're paying attention for these riders. Because of course, sometimes the safer move is to hold your line, hold your speed, and not wreck
Yeah.
yourself or wreck in front of them. So it's really just enforcing not passing and enforcing, hey, you've been going around for a lap and over one lap. You've already exceeded one lap of not moving out of the way. Or you moved out of the way of the first place guy, but you're still not getting out of the way for second and third that are all within 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be some like logic here as far as how that rule is applied. And I don't think it's that hard. And I think you can start with what we already have, which is something like a blue flag. And I think that's a good way to look at it because rather than trying to go to extremes or totally different news or implementing something totally different, just utilize what we already have. And that's what we have that is sometimes being blatantly ignored. So make them not ignore it. I don't know. I think that's a good opinion. What do you think?
I think it's solid. I mean, like I said, there's got to be some kind of repercussions. We don't need to rewrite everything completely, but I think there's absolutely a place for privateers in the sport. And one thing that I would like to bring up in terms of privateers, I think back a couple years ago, Salt Lake City, when everybody was out, there were literally like five. If you want to count the HEP guys being Shane and Chiz at that point as factory guys, there were a grand total of six factory guys left at the end of the 2023 season. Do we really want to watch a race with six factory guys? Six guys total? Like, if the other guys go down, where do you get the fill ins? Do you pull that many guys from Arena Cross, or do you
Now they're
just
not
say, oh,
ready. Yeah.
sorry, there's only five factory guys healthy. This is all you're going to pay to see this weekend? I mean, it's a conundrum if you take them out of the action, but it's hopefully we can find some sort of, and of course we talked about a couple weeks ago the whole red light thing and controversy there. We just got to find some way for there to be repercussions of people both taking advantage or failing to adhere to the blue flag, because that flag's displayed for a reason.
Yep.
It's not just going to be thrown randomly. You see that blue flag, it's because, hey, you got leaders coming.
They
Get
point
out
at
of the
you.
way,
They
hold your
point at you.
line.
They like make
Yep,
eye
they
contact with
wave it
you
right at you.
and point at you. Like they're being radioed in to tell that rider, hey, here comes this number. Point at him. Blue flag him.
Yeah.
They blue flag you pretty aggressively, honestly. So it's not you can't miss it. So there's no really excuse there in my opinion. And yeah, like I said, there's so many options or things you can go on about. Some people would say less people on a gate. Some people will say completely get rid of it. Some people will say make things harder. This and that. There's a lot of different ideas and solutions or whatever you want to say. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of been leaning on that idea of the blue flag because it's like I said, it's like changing something, making something that can solve a big problem without changing something totally. So I don't know.
I
Maybe
want to say Tomac tweeted
we'll
about
clip
it the other day as
about the
well,
blue
and I
flag.
want to really quick try to. Yeah, I think it was a little bit tamer than what he was saying on the press conference, where he was like, "Yeah, these guys got to go." Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find it.
these guys got to go.
Here it says, people saying we wouldn't deal with lappers if we were all on stock bikes. It's quite the opposite of the truth. The 450 class is actually easier to be competitive in its current state compared to the 250 class. Want to be competitive throughout a whole season with a do-it-yourself effort on 250 going against teams with endless R&D, squeezing maximum power out of the small displacement? Good luck. On top of keeping engines and race bikes safe in hourly rotation, there's not a whole lot of light, at the end of the tunnel without a blank check. In my opinion, 450 class needs to be non-production based with the baddest works bikes on planet Earth. The beautiful thing about Supercross and Motocross is that skill and hard work will always prevail. And yes, that would still shine with works bikes. Or maybe we just keep everything the way it is because our sport is pretty sweet. So it seemed like Eli softened his stance a little bit, which of
What
course,
he said,
heat of the
works
moment.
bikes, like woods racing bikes, like works bikes,
I think he means like just tricked out factory bikes, you know what I mean?
like everyone's on
Of
them.
Yeah, but like he says at the end too, it seems like he softens up a little bit. Heat of the moment, he could have easily been mad, and understandably so. He gets cross jumped by a guy who's been doing shenanigans for years, but he says at the end of the tweet, like I said, maybe we keep everything the way it is because our sport is pretty sweet. And Eli Tomac tweets are very rare, and they seem like they are they're always addressing something, and then he just deletes them afterwards, and you go back and it's like, oh, 2020 is his last tweet. But Eli Tomac tweets are like the polar bear in Arlington, Texas meme. It's like just a once in a year occurrence, it seems like. But
Interesting.
that's our 2 cents on
I
things.
feel like he would maybe. I don't know. I'm curious what these riders would think about our idea of the blue flag because I don't know. The more I think about it and the more we talk about it, the more I kind of like it because I feel like it's like a really good starting point to like just. It's like you don't even have to change anything. You don't have to make new flags. We had the flag. Just make a
Yeah.
new rule. Figure out what the consequence is going to be
Enforce
and
it more.
enforce it. Yeah, throw it on a lot of
Yeah.
people. Be like, okay, guys, don't forget to make it fair so we don't ruin your battle. You can't pass, so you can continue your battle. And they can't take advantage. If we see that one person's moving over and you decide to close up your 5 second gap on them, then we're going to see that as an advantage and we'll dock you your position. If you're using that as an
Yeah.
opportunity to catch up, it's just going to be off of. I mean, the AMA is pretty much operates off of good faith already. They don't go exactly by the rules. They kind of already kind of go off of what their opinion of it is in a way of the rule. So why not just make this a little stricter and still go off kind of your opinion, but let's make it a little more obvious. Like again, someone like Vince Freezy, they're straight up like repeat offender and should abide by that rule because I don't think he's not one of the guys that I see looking over like Grant Harlan. You can actually see him looking over and looking for the battle and rolling and getting out of the way. Obviously, Vince Freeze is going to hit the triple and cross jump you on the air while he's doing it, and then try to park you in the corner and for some reason try to race you through the next 3 sections. So yeah, start there. Let's just put some repercussions, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh wow, look at that!" Like, just ride safe. Don't be dumb. If you need to jump because it's the safest thing to do, then do it. But you better be moving over in the next section. you know, yeah, let's make the blue flag stricter. So that's our opinion. That's my opinion on the blue flags. I think I'm gonna try to. I need to be better about posting the content and clipping it. So I'm gonna try to clip this one and maybe post it so we put our voice out there a little bit because I think I like this idea. Like I said, we gotta start somewhere before you go to extremes or make big swings at it. I think you start little swings, and I think that's what the series and Feld and what they are trying to do already. They are trying to implement smaller and different things, and some of the things are working. We're breaking records in views. We're filling stadiums. The sport is doing well. Let's keep it doing well. Let's keep these riders happy too while we're at it, and let's try to keep everyone happy. And eventually, let's try to figure out a way to make more money for everyone too, even the privateers. I mean, that'd be great. The more money we can make them, the more money people like us can make too in the content creation, and the more they could help the ecosystem grow. Like we should. Well, that's what we need to be thinking of. Like, how can we do that? So write your opinions there, but let's jump into this real quick. Trey, you check this out. I had not really jumped too much into the MXGP content yet, but I saw the boys were watching it in the media room. They had it on at the same time, so it was kind of happening while we were watching everything go down at the races. But I'll let you kind of jump into it and give us a quick rundown on the kickoff this weekend before we wrap up the show tonight.
Yeah, MXGP, of course, qualifying races on Saturday, so that's what they would have been watching. The actual motos on Sunday, they do pay some points for the qualifying.
Okay.
Top 10 get some points in there. Tom Vial in the MXGP class, of course, he moved over to Europe. He's on the Honda HRC Patronus machine. And then Sasha Kunin in the MX2 class on the Red Bull KTM Ducati racing machine. Those were your qualifying race winners. Of course, there's so much to talk about. A lot of silly season changes if you don't watch MXGP, but Roman Fevre and Simon Langenfeld are back. They're the defending champions in their respective classes. Jeffrey Hurlings and Tim Geiser are really the most decorated racers in the field. Jeffrey was with KTM since he turned pro 2010, and then he moves to Honda during the offseason. Tim Geiser, over a decade with Honda and 5 world championships between classes with Honda. Now he's over at Yamaha, kind of like what we experience over here in the U.S. when Eli goes to KTM, Chase goes to Kawasaki. Huge moves in silly season over in MXGP. Plus, there are 5 rookies, 6 rookies actually, Oriol Oliveira in the MXGP class as well. Tom Vial and Andrea Adamo, Kai DeWolf, those guys all were 250 champions. They are the headliners of that class. Unfortunately, DeWolf is injured right now, missed the first round, but Vial looked good. MX2 class, it was really the Langenfelder show. He picked up where he left off. He didn't score points in the qualifying race because he went down early and had a bad start, but he goes out there, he goes 1-1, dominates the day. Sasha Kunin second in the first moto, but goes down pretty much immediately. I think the first or second jump in the second race goes to DNF. But Langenfelder controlled the day, got up front early in the first race, and then the second race as well, made a really aggressive move. Didn't take him down, but definitely moved Guillaume Ferrez out of the way. And it was a double podium for Triumph. Ferrez second overall, Camden McClellan from South Africa third overall. But Langenfelder starts the year 50 points, 1-1. Great way to start the season. And speaking of 1-1s, what a debut for Jeffrey Hurlings on Honda. And both races, He worked his way through the field. Tom Vial led a majority of the first moto in the MXGP class. He was out front, shining out there. But then here comes Hurlings. The bullet was not to be denied, and Jeffrey got the W in the end. Second race, Hurling starts 13th, but he gets a red flag. I've never personally seen a red flag because of a gate issue, but Alberto Ferrato literally just rode through his gate. I mean, the gate's getting ready to drop, and he just plows through it. The couple guys beside him got stuck, so MXGP was like, okay, we're going to red flag it. Maxime Renault, the
Huh.
other Yamaha factory rider, got up front. Tom Vial was up there a little bit. Roman Fevre, the defending champion for Kawasaki, he took the lead and led the majority of the race. But once again, Hurlings just kept working his way forward, gets the moto victory 1-1 for Hurlings. But he is tied with Vial for the points lead. Tom goes 2-4 on Sunday, but Tom won the qualifying moto on Saturday. So there's an extra 10 points. Jeffrey didn't score any from the qualifying race because, like Langenfelder and MX2, Jeffrey went down in the qualifier, so he didn't get to score any points. He was unhurt, obviously. Finished 12th, so right outside of there. But Hurlings and Vial will both have the red plate going into the Spain qualifying race. That is next weekend. They also have a week off, which, of course, Argentina traveling back to Europe is a lot of travel for those teams. But Hurlings, Fevre, Vial, your opening podium of the year. Lucas Kunin, last year's runner-up, was a bit disappointing there in fifth place, but you look down the order, Andrea Adamo, Thibaut Benestant, two of the rookies there in the top 10. Calvin Vlanderen and Mattia Guadagnini were two guys who were down early in the second moto, and they benefited from the red flag. And then you look all the way down the order, Andrea Bonacorsi, double DNF to start the year, not good for him. Jago Geerts just moved over to Beta. He went out of the first moto and then didn't start the second moto. And you look at the standings, like I said, Hurlings and Vial, they're tied at top at 50. Fevre is right there at 48. Of course, the season just started. Langenfelder's got a bit more of a gap in the MX2 class. I think 3 points over Ferez because of the qualifying race. But it was a really fun weekend. I've watched MXGPs for a while now, and seeing so much hype go into it, of course, so many big silly season moves, you really didn't know what to expect, and so many question marks. It was a very fun opener. Jeffrey Hurlings was the class of the field, but I was very impressed with Tom Vial. His speed was legit. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Tom fighting up for wins and podiums and maybe even the championship if he keeps this going. Both of the main Honda guys, Ruben Fernandez was in there as well, but the Honda guys were really impressive. And then I think the 250 class is weaker because so many guys moved up, and I really think this is Langenfelder's time to shine, to go back to back. Sasha Kunin's very fast, but he is checkers or wreckers a lot of times. He either wins or he wads himself. And this weekend, he gets second in the first moto, and then he wads himself. So immediately he's in a hole points wise. Not too bad because of the qualifying race, but I really think this is Langenfelder's year to prove that like I am the 250 guy before he moves up to the premier class next year.
Awesome. Well, thank you for covering that for us, Trey. And you guys can check out his whole write up on motocross.com. And Trey's a big part of what we do on the website and making sure to help bring that coverage. And eventually, we really want to make Trans and Motocross have that coverage. Right now, the core of it and where I'm building my foundation is in Supercross and Pro Motocross, is Super Motocross Series, World Championship. But the other series and other things I want to do, obviously, something like create a bigger presence in the amateur scene. Obviously, we got to be a part of the amateur parts of the Arena Cross, the regional arena or AMA Arena Cross series last year, and really love being a part of that. And we have a good relationship there and good relationship with the AMA and everything we're doing over there. And I think it's something we might keep continuing on together like we've been doing and keep our foot in the amateur scene, but never eventually do more. I think we've talked about outdoor races too. I like seeing people like, Moto Playground. They're a huge media outlet, and they do their big amateur races, and they have a big presence in the amateur scene. Verb Moto, they do a great job with their new Prospect app, and doing a great job there. And we're trying to find our footing and everything we want to do in the amateur scene too. And I like doing our coverage there, but really, like, I would love to do more of our YouTube coverage and those kind of things across not only the amateur stuff, but the World Supercross and the MXGP and all these series. It would be great to have that same kind of coverage from both our photos, our editorials, our journalism, and our videos and our highlights. I would love to have that happening across the board, where the YouTube channel is just getting 10 uploads a week because we're really cranking out the content, and that's our long term goal. So thank you, Trey, for helping us make sure to at least have the MXGP covered in that way, where we can talk about it and people can read about it for now. And that is great, because that is one of the bigger goals we have for Transworld Motocross and motocross.com. So thank you, Trey. And Trey, why don't you tell us where we could find you? I think we're going to wrap it up here for the night. I think we covered a lot here and went over everything. And yeah, it was a great time. And want to keep it going, but man, I'm ready for this break. So you guys want to see us to after Birmingham. Trey, where can we find you, man? What else you got coming out? You already had something else come out, I think, right?
Yep. Thanks everybody for watching. Of course, we appreciate you tuning in. It is an off week. Steyr Sound is actually off this week. I was going back and forth between, do I record this week and then take next week off, or do we skip this week? We're going to skip this week. My co-host Jack and I was like, let's go ahead and skip this week, and then we'll get back in and recap Indy and then preview Birmingham and the MXGP
He's
of
tight.
Spain. Of course, we got a lot of stuff coming up, but next week you'll find Steyr Sound episode 32 back to regularly scheduled programming there, and then of course
32
my
J
Unsung
Coop.
Heroes series,
Yeah.
NBA J Coop, shout out,
Yeah.
and then we got Unsung Heroes is out already. My podcast / article series. If you like the written, if you like the old school format, the 250 article is out today. 450 article I usually put up on Thursday. My audio edition, I always try to get interviews. My goal was 31 interviews in 31 weeks. Right now, I think this is week number 9 of the season. Of course, we'll be off next week because there's no races, but I think that now I have 11 interviews because we had a double dose this week. Grant Harlan and Luke Neese, of course, both guys in the top 15 in their respective classes. Grant holding it down for the KMR Champion Tool Storage KTM team. Luke Neese, as we mentioned, from Partzilla Arena Cross to Supercross with the Storm Lake Honda Buddy Brooks Racing team. Getting some insight from those guys, and I like to run down and spotlight all the privateer racers of the sport who are out there scratching and clawing. We got some career bests, some career firsts. Go check that out. If you would like to follow me on social media, TJ Steyr3 is my Instagram, TJ STIRE and the number 3. Steyr23 on X. I don't post as much there anymore, but I'm still on there somewhat. Go follow my podcast and my audio platforms, the Steyr Sound, also Trey Steyr on YouTube. YouTube is really weird. Sometimes you have to really be specific at times when you want to watch my show or podcast on there. So if you would subscribe, that would be helpful in getting some more eyes on the brand, because they think I want to search for the Store Sound or the Store Sound podcast and a bunch of stuff. And it really messes with it. But go follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. It's the Steyr Sound. And then just my YouTube page is just myself, Trey Steyr. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like he said earlier in the show, you need aftermarket parts, you need exhaust, you need suspension, you need whatever. Who's got you covered? Of course, it's partzilla.com. The best for parts. They're not the second best for parts. They're not the fifth best for parts. They're not the average for parts. They're the best. The best. Partzilla.com. Supporting us, supporting the PRMX Kawasaki team, supporting Partzilla Arena Cross, of course. So much involvement in the sport, and of course, we thank Partzilla, and we thank you, the viewers. Obviously, stay tuned to motocross.com, as I mentioned. A little bit of a slow news week, so we apologize. There's not a ton going on right now. People kind of taking a deep breath, but stay tuned to motocross.com for all your news. TWMX on Instagram. Of course, we have the YouTube page that you're watching right now. Obviously, go watch Gavin's recaps. Watch his footage from trackside. You can see it right there on the floor of Lucas Oil Stadium. Watch this show every single week. We appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Trey. As always, thank you, Partzilla. You wrapped it up perfectly right there, again, with the perfect plug for Partzilla. And yeah, check out the trackside footage. The 250 video dropped today, which this comes out tomorrow. So you'll also see the 450 video dropping today, along with after this video drops. So keep an eye out for that footage. I really like doing it at the trackside. Just a little different perspective than what you see at the races. I try my best to pan to each battle. If I see a battle, I pan over. I try to show you the gaps between like some of the battles and some of the top people and the people behind them. I try to do my best to really tell that story through the way I capture the footage. So I hope you guys like it. But yeah, check it out. Check me out at Gavin Ayala on Instagram, GavenAyala. Yala Media or a media company out there. I'll try to post more on there, but TWMX.com obviously is where we're at, and that's where we're doing most of our content and where we're going to continue doing more. We got a lot of things in the works. Things are looking great here, and we're moving forward. We're building that foundation, and I'm really excited, man. This is we're only like 2 years really into this, third physical year for the business, but we're like really making things happen now. So appreciate everyone for coming. I am gonna enjoy my break, take a little bit of time off. We will not be doing a show next week because we have nothing. No, there might be some news to talk about, but we'll probably cover it in the next one. But we're gonna do these usually after the races for now. So we will see you guys after Birmingham, after the first East-West shootout. So we're gonna have lots to talk about then, that's for sure. But with that, we will see you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out. See ya.